Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Ross and Wizzy's Fanfiction Power Hour. I'm your host, Ross Pitt, Shark Hunter. And with me today, as always, is my co-host, Wizzy Puff. Say hello, Wizzy.
Hi, everybody.
There he is. My co-host. Not yours.
Ooh, this is gonna get awkward.
He's my Wizzy.
So I've been getting a couple of other offers from other podcasts.
Wizzy. No. Sprit.
They said they wanted a token gay guy. And I'm like, that's me.
Okay. And they can get another token gay guy. You're mine.
Man. Alright.
Don't go running off with other people.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like sports podcasts, so like...
Gross.
But imagine one of those types of podcasts actually having a queer person on it. That would be like a historic moment.
Right.
This is me calling sports podcasts for no reason.
So, anyways, welcome back, guys, to Ross and Wizzy's Fanfiction Power Hour, the podcast where I take my lovely friend Wizzy Puff through the magical world of My Little Pony fanfiction. And Wizzy, we have had the most interesting week, haven't we?
I've had more interesting weeks.
Okay. Big man. I'll just explain it then. So we recorded an entire episode, and I edited about 3/4 of it, of that entire episode. And come Monday, last Monday the... Well, I don't have a calendar on me. One of the Mondays of August, I'm so excited to continue working on the episode because I was like, oh man, it's so good. This episode is coming along great. And I try and turn on my computer. And then I try it again. And then I try it again. And my computer doesn't want to turn on. So now I'm freaking out, going, oh God, why isn't my computer turning on? Shoot. So that episode currently is lost because I continue to put off getting a big ol' cloud file saver place to where I can store all of my and Wizzy's recordings and stuff like that. So that's fun.
Yeah, I offered to edit my side of the recording and just upload that, but Ross said no.
Yep, and I said no for a good reason.
It would have been very entertaining.
I was listening to it, and I'll be honest, I think I was kind of the star of that episode, but whatever. So anyways, yeah, now I have a new thing that I'm recording on. It's a laptop now. Perhaps a bit of a different quality. Same microphone, though. But, yeah, so that was annoying. So I had Wizzy, because I couldn't edit at the time, just record a separate podcast that we had planned for a while, in case one of us missed a week. The Fanfiction Campfire. Wizzy, tell everybody about that.
Oh, it was just wonderful. I could finally hear myself think. I'm kidding.
And he thinks loud.
So, yeah, that was a really good episode, I think. I was, like, very unprepared to actually go into it when I actually started, I realized, but I feel like I kind of went along and improv'd it pretty well.
I think you did very well.
Thank you.
Legitimately, Wizzy, you were the superstar of last week, God, I was trying my best not to flip my shit, and you really helped with that. You are amazing.
Yeah, the fic I picked out, I thought was like really lucky that it was such a good story. If you haven't listened to it, go back, listen to that, read the fic, give that guy a like.
Yeah.
But like, man, really kind of struck gold.
Yep.
If it was going to be a bad story, then I really couldn't have saved it. I'm not
Yeah.
that good.
Yeah, I think you did a great job. And I don't mean to brag. I did get that. No, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say what I did for that, because you deserve all the credit.
Oh, but your art was beautiful. I'm shocked that you were able to get that done with everything else you were dealing with.
Yeah, it was it was tough, but yeah, I was very thankful that I was able to do that. But yeah, I think had I had more time to level my thoughts on it, I could have done it a bit better, but oh well. Isn't that true for everything? And oh yeah, so when I was at the dentist the day that episode was released, we got the funniest little comment on our episode, Dungeon Master Applejack. Fucking Rune Soldier Dan saw that we did a recording of his fic. And if you don't know, Rune Soldier Dan is like, OMG, one of my favorite authors.
It's like one of the first authors that we read who was like one of the leagues above in terms of just the writing skill, I think.
Yeah.
It felt so much more professional than some, not to rag on any of the early fics we read, because I really liked a lot of those, but just like it felt a lot more professional the way he was writing I Daybreaker.
Yeah. I think I Daybreaker is still one of my favorites.
Yeah. I was re-listening to that after this, and it's just like a lot of stuff that I had missed in the initial reading 3 years ago. Like went over my head.
And then there's Try for the Sun, which is another masterpiece. Dungeon Master Applejack, coincidentally, probably his worst one that we've done, but it's still amazing. So he had a blog post about that, and I was like, holy cow, OMG. I feel so happy. And then freaking Esau from the Celestia Code saw that and was like, oh hey, they've done the Celestia Code. So they also made a blog post, and guess what? We've affected the canon of Celestia Code forever. Because as far as I'm concerned, Jigsaw is now Irish officially.
Yay!
Wizzy, I cannot believe that I was so down. I think we cut this out of the actual episodes, but I remember I was like, really, that's the voice you were doing? Because that's what I always did in those early recordings. It's definitely like, that's the voice you're going with. Okay. So yeah, good job, Wizzy. You've once again bested me in people recognizing your accomplishments.
Wait, what other time?
Oh, I'm sure it's happened. I just have a lot of envy in me, you know? So then also, um, Pseudo Bob Delitus from the episode I and White Painted Walls, they saw that. And then Evil Lily, who made Something About Midnights, otherwise known as my second favorite fic that we've read, they saw that, their episode. So that was great. That blows my mind. And sure, if we had told them, hey, we did a reading of your fic, they would have seen it a lot faster. But we don't do that because we're scared that they're going to be like, oh, you shouldn't do that. Take it down.
Remove your beautiful work of art from this website.
Anyways, that's what happened with us. Now I have a new laptop and I can record again. Crazy week, man.
Whoo! So if you're here from either of those, any of those shout outs, if you saw us because of any of them, then hi! Welcome!
Welcome, everybody. Love you. Now then, I would say that currently that it's been about 16 minutes of recording. Probably a bit less for the actual release. So, we should actually start to get to what we came here for. The fan fictions. This fan fiction is called Let's Just Say by Obsolescence. Now, I don't usually read the descriptions, but I think this one kind of requires a bit of a reading before we get into it. So here's the description for Let's Just Say. Suppose I killed them all. So I'm curious. But yeah, let's just say, suppose I killed all of you if you don't go down in the description and read this story for yourself. Or you could give it a like as well. I'd be fine with that too.
It's already at over 3,400, but I could use a few more.
They could always use a few more. And sure, Obsolescence hasn't been on the site for 18,000 years, but, you know, don't be rude. If that name sounds familiar, they also did another story that we read earlier this year called... It's around here somewhere. Why can't I find it? There it is. The Mare at the End of Forever, which is another one that Wizzy edited. So yeah, let's just get through this. We've spent enough time already, and I want to get to bed before 12 midnight. All right, this is Let's Just Say by Obsolescence. Chapter: If I wanted to. Let's just say it was that beautiful peak time of autumn when all the leaves were still on the trees. The branches were heavy with shades of red and orange and gold, and for that brief moment it could be imagined that they'd be that way forever. It could be dreamed that though winter would not come this year, and neither the spring after it, nor the summer again after that, there'd just be the forest with all of its fiery colors, and the cool drifting breeze that sometimes blew by. Of course, it wouldn't happen. The running of the leaves would be in a week's time, to tear it all down and leave the trees bare. You don't know what the running of the leaves is, do you?
Is it like the running of the bulls?
I guess. I never actually put that together. So the running of the leaves is basically because the ponies all like control the weather. That is how they like get the leaves to fall. They run by them and it'll shake and it'll just shake all the trees off, or the
They
leaves
just
off
wait
the
for them
trees.
to turn orange and then do that?
Pretty much.
Nice.
A strange world they live in,
But so magical.
I guess. So yeah, that's what the running of the leaves is. Very interesting.
I don't know why they couldn't use like their sky pony magic to blow them all down though.
They probably usually do, but in Ponyville, it's a bit different. Because Ponyville was
Oh,
founded by Earth ponies, they usually,
yeah.
the Earth ponies are usually the ones that they do Earth pony traditions and stuff.
Nice.
Yep. That one was explained in a different episode.
I bet they have a whole festival for it, too.
Yeah, they sure do.
Those ponies.
It's so them. There were reasons, very good reasons, why there could never be a perpetual autumn. But one could imagine it anyway, if only briefly.
Autumn without end?
I'm trying to figure out. Oh, autumn without end. Okay.
Yeah. A perpetual autumn.
Holy cow, what a coincidence. That's another one of the stories that we've read. One of the earlier ones, in fact.
One that's not available on Fanfiction.
It's not available on Fanfiction anymore because the author, President Dead, is one of those authors. A snob.
It's a good story. Leave it. We loved it so much.
Oh, this isn't good enough. Get it out of my sight. Well, it's forever on our channel.
That sounds like a beetle.
Oh yeah, it's me, the beetle. In the heart of the forest stood Equestria's own Princess Celestia. She was completely alone, and it had taken much effort for her to get that way. Canterlot was presumably in an uproar about her mysterious disappearance, particularly when she was due for meetings with 3 different ambassadors, 2 distant relatives, and a concerned citizen. But so what? She felt free for a flickering moment. Not free enough to forget that she was still the princess, and that invariably she'd be found and brought back. But so what? So what? She was technically away from it all, still in Equestria, but away from the rest of it. The ponies, her loyal subjects. There were no sycophant, upper-crust Canterlot ponies in these woods, nor were there any of the rustic Ponyville types, who'd throw themselves off a cliff if they thought their princess would like the sound of the splatter. It was nice to be 10 miles distant from either of them. She was, at any rate, sick of both of them. Not all of them. There were a few good apples in the bunch, so to speak.
Applejack.
There were a few ponies who didn't make her despair, but those were few and far between. Most of the populace, though, well, there was something wrong with them. They were shallow or stupid, or, more often than not, both, plus a few extra character flaws for good measure. And they didn't even know it. Didn't even notice how silly it was to panic and scream over every little thing. Didn't even realize how stupid it was to build their identities around the approval of every flash-in-the-pan pony who achieved some minor fame in Canterlot. Didn't even. Well-meaning idiots, the lot of them. There'd been an infestation in Philadelphia just 2 months ago. Parasprites, nasty little buggers. What had brought them? Well, some traveling sales ponies, non-peril, had got the bright spark idea to go sell them as pets. The town, for its part, had been stupid enough to believe that parasprites, of all things, would make good pets. A spark, some dry leaves, a fire. And who'd been forced to clean up that mess? Who'd been called out of Canterlot to solve the problem Philadelphia'd set on itself? Why, the princess, of course. A squirrel scampered by, twisting and turning its way past her legs. Birds who hadn't the good sense to go south already chirped in a lovely little chorus. Yes, this was lovely. The sort of thing a princess needed when she wanted to get away from it all. Not away from it all forever. She'd never get away from it forever. Unless...
Suppose I killed them all.
A passing-by bunny stopped in mid-hop and stared up at her with its big black eyes. Was it listening? Had it heard? Did it understand? Maybe. Animals were smarter than most ponies gave them credit for. Just as most ponies were dumber than they gave themselves credit for.
Let's just say,
Celestia repeated, now for the pleasure of her little woodland friend, as well as herself,
that I killed every pony. Hypothetically, of course,
she added when the bunny's eyes widened.
I'm not being serious, but let's just say.
A few more animals scurried up to listen, trying to figure what all the fuss was about. A hedgehog poked its head out from inside a log. A squirrel peered down from a low-hanging branch. It was an audience in the making, but Celestia didn't mind. She welcomed it. The more ears there were to hear her crazy ideas, the more sense she could make of her own rambling.
Don't trust them, Celestia. Those are Fluttershy's agents.
Oh, God. Fluttershy's gonna hear this and freak out.
Gonna report back to Twilight, and it's gonna be a battle for the ages.
Oh, yeah. It does sound kind of cool.
If you remember Daybreaker, she explained why she can't just kill them all.
That's true. Tower of Babel.
It wouldn't be very difficult, to kill everything.
She told them.
If I really wanted to, which I don't.
She added again.
But if I did...
The hedgehog chittered something. She didn't know what it was really trying to say, but she took it to mean, how?
Well, let's just say that I left the sun up too long. Dear God.
Oh, no. Some of the animals did something that sounded a bit like laughter. Of course, they would laugh, Celestia knew. They didn't see it yet.
Let me finish,
she said, patiently.
Say I left the sun up too long. Not too long, just a month, maybe 2. That doesn't sound very bad, does it? More time to frolic and play and do what you want before going to sleep, yes?
Most of the animals nodded. An owl, listening sleepily from inside a tree trunk, silently disagreed. Ugh, so wise.
Man, owls really know it. Wait a minute, is this specifically Twilight's owl?
No, probably not.
Oh, okay, good.
But that's what they'd all think at first. They'd say, this is a little strange, of course. But no pony'd really question it. They don't ask questions if they think it's a good thing. Well, maybe Twilight Sparkle does. But she questions everything.
The bunny made some angry scratching sounds. Get to the point already, it seemed to be saying. The rest of the audience followed suit and made noises to a similar effect. Well, if they insisted.
And without any of them realizing it, it would happen. All the water would dry up, slowly at first, too slowly for any pony to notice. But all the rivers and lakes and ponds in Equestria would eventually evaporate. Little by little. No nighttime for them to cool off, you see. Just heat from the sun. For days and days and days. The plants would all shrivel and die. They'd try to keep them for a while, maybe schedule a few more storms. But it would only be temporary. The water won't last. Sooner or later, all the crops will wilt and turn brown. They'd still have the food stores, but those won't last either. And even if they did, what would they drink? The forests would burn at some point, dried out so thoroughly that just the tiniest flare would set off a fire. Probably the towns would burn down too. Only Canterlot is anything approaching fireproof. Okay, wait, what about the Crystal Empire?
That's a good question.
Small consolation, that. Once all the water's gone, and the food's gone too, and everything's dead, it'd just take that one last wildfire to wipe out everything completely, and make the land a desert proper. So that's what we'd have when all's said and done. A desert. A vast, sprawling nothingness where Equestria used to be. If I left the sun up for too long.
Calm down there, Atlas shrugged. All the animals were staring up at her with wide open eyes. Not the tiniest noise could be heard in the forest at that point. Not even from the birds. Those fuckers were loud. Not even from the birds. She could just tell that they were all thinking the same thing. Why would you do that?
I wouldn't,
she assured them.
I'm not going to. I love all my subjects, even when they're being very stupid. But if we just say that I did...
She swallowed and thought about it for a second more.
If we just say that I did, maybe I'd finally...
But before she could go on, a voice could be heard passing through the trees. Princess, are you out there? It sounded very much like a royal guard.
Oh dear, they found me at last,
said Celestia, just the tiniest bit annoyed that she'd been interrupted. Yeah, I'm also kind of a bit annoyed. The sprinklers just turned on.
Man,
This is the worst timing.
I'd hoped for a little more time.
Princess, the voice repeated, closer and louder this time.
I'm here.
She called back.
Follow the sound of my voice.
Stay where you are, Princess. We're coming for you. Soon enough, a pair of gold-armored stallions trotted up and bowed before the princess. We are glad to have found you, Princess, said the first. Every pony was much distressed to hear that you'd gone missing.
There is much work to be done now in Canterlot,
added the second.
The ambassadors are all furious with you, and there is talk of a petition requesting that the princess pay more attention to the state of the...
Of course there is.
Celestia sighed.
Let's go then. Come on.
She turned to her new animal friends and gave them a wink before trotting off, flanked on both sides by her guards. A minute passed, 2, hoofsteps in the distance, and then silence. The animals looked at each other, then at the sky, and they saw the autumn sun shining brightly above them. They prayed very hard that it would go down soon.
Oh, God. They could understand every word she said.
They were very much pro-destroying Equestria.
Whoa.
And that was, let's just say, by obsolescence.
Maybe this is what really brings on the events of the mayor at the end of Forever.
Maybe. Wild freaking duology here.
The craziest thing. random fic goes into that.
Oh man, I love it when stories do that. Like I'm talking like stories that kind of connect, but they have completely different tones.
Oh.
But
I
could also
see
be
what you're saying
standalones.
now.
I can't think of another one, but I'm sure there exist. I'm just now realizing that that's something I would totally be down for. I also think it's explicitly not how the world ends at the Mare at the end of Forever.
Yeah, I think they sort of explain that a bit more in that story.
Yeah. Either way, good stuff. Yeah, this is it's an interesting one. It makes you realize just how thankful, how good Celestia is for not doing that, you know?
Yep. Thank God they have a merciful, peace-loving ruler. This is why dictatorships don't actually work in the real world. Because I don't think you're going to get Celestia as your immortal forever ruler in most cases with a dictatorship.
You don't know that.
That's true.
God.
Maybe we should have seen how Mussolini really played it out.
Mm-hmm. I think it would have been great.
Yeah.
I do really like how she just made a whole bunch of animal friends. And
Yeah.
my personal theory for that is because of her alicorn nature. She gets one of the Pegasi powers, which is talking to animals, apparently.
Oh, is that a Pegasi power? I thought that was just a Fluttershy power.
I'm pretty sure it is just a Fluttershy power, but, you know.
Oh.
Honestly, if it was a power for any of them, I would say it would probably be an Earth Pony power. But,
Yeah.
who's to say?
Well, they can talk to rocks at least. Or one of them can.
Yeah. But perhaps she can get the other Earth Pony power, which is whatever the fuck Pinkie Pie does.
What does she? I think she can fold her tongue. That's her thing.
Oh man, I could do that too. Am I Pinkie
I'm surprised that some people can't. I just remember there was an episode of Powerpuff Girls where it was like revealing their secondary powers, like Bubbles. Bubbles could talk to animals. I forget what Blossom could do, and then Buttercup was like, I don't have anything. And then it reveals like at the end she's like able to fold her tongue and no one else in Townsville could.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Did this story take place while Luna's locked in the moon, though? Because I feel like she'd have something to say about a forever son.
No, I don't think she would.
No more having to raise the moon, I guess. Easier for her.
Yep. That definitely didn't play a part in her going insane 1,000 years ago. Definitely not.
She hated doing that. She never wanted to do that.
You know, honestly, this year I feel like I've been bashing on Luna a bit less.
Ooh, the Luna bashing?
Yeah, I've just been a bit more understanding of her plight, I guess. You know, she was mentally unwell, and at that point in time, they probably didn't have good psychiatrists.
And I mean, yeah, she definitely, like, I'm pretty sure the whole, like, state of being Nightmare Moon was a bit like, her mental state was just, like, changed without her own input at all. Like, beyond her own control.
It was really more of just, well, general jealousy, but also, I don't know, maybe she's bipolar.
Yo. And then the other pole is Celestia.
Mental health, interesting stuff. Been getting into a lot of that recently. Don't come to me for advice on any of it, though.
You should check out our playlist, Mental Health Fix, because we've read quite a few at this point.
We have read quite a few. Maybe we should make a playlist on YouTube for that. Well, anyways, not much more to say about this fic. Is there, Wizzy?
Let's just say suppose I killed them all. And that's all we really have to say about it.
All right. Well, everybody, that's all we have time for. Thank you so much for listening. If you want, go down in the description and read this story for yourself. Just gonna say that at the end here as well. And also, remember, don't kill everybody. Bad idea.
Good reminder.
Bye-bye.
See ya!
Dang it. I was trying to find a specific literary reference.
Oh.
Hold on one second. Too good to pass up. Shoot. Book was by a female philosopher. A bad one.
Oh, was it, Atlas Shrugged?
Yes, that's it.
Oh.
Calm down there, Atlas Shrugged.
Now I get it.
You could
Atlas
tell
Shrugged.
that was worth it.
As soon as you said a bad female philosopher.
Oh man, I was racking my brain trying to figure that out.